In the last lesson, we have learned the iterable and iterator protocol. In this lesson, let's create our own iterator object using those two protocols. First, let's take a look at the default iterator object returned by the values method. If we pass this iterator object to for_of will output every element value. But we can also output one value at a time using the next method. The first time we run the next method, we'll get the first element. Because there are still values left in the sequence, the value of done is false. If we run the next method again, we will get the second element. The value of done is still false. Now every element has been output. If we run the next method for the fourth time, things will be different. The value will become undefined, and done will become true. This means every value has been output, and the iteration has reached the end. If we continue to run the next method, we'll get the same result. Using for_of, we can output every sequence value automatically. But why is our result here undefined? It's because we have already output every sequence value using the next method. The iteration has ended. If we refresh the program and run for_of again, all element values will be output normally. For the same reason, if we run the next method after for_of, we will still get undefined. Next, let's create our own iterator. We still want to output each element value, but we want to capitalize them. First, we follow the iterable protocol. We define our own API method using symbol.iterator as its name. The method must have no argument and must return an object. The returned object will be the iterator object. Next, we follow the iterator protocol, which requires the returned object to have the next method. The next method must also return an object with two properties, value and done. This in the symbol.iterator method will point to the array, so we can access array elements via this. But the next method is defined in the iterator object. This in it points to the iterator object. For the next method to access array elements outside the iterator object, we first assign this to a variable that. Now, inside the next method, we can access array elements via that. Behind that, we create another variable, index. We set its value to 0. In the next method, we add an if statement. We compare the value of index with the element total. The element total can be retrieved via that.length. If index is smaller than length, it means there are still values left in the sequence. We return an object. We set value to that index. Behind index, we add an increment operator. The increment operator is vital. After we have retrieved the first element, we add 1 to the original index value so that the next element can be retrieved. Then we connect the toUpperCase method to capitalize the element value. We set done to false. Again, the increment operator here is very important. Without it, the index value will stay 0 forever, which means we will get an infinite loop that keeps outputting the first element value. The increment operator is placed behind index, so the index value will only change after the corresponding element has been retrieved. In the else part, we also return an object. We set value to undefined. Then we set done to true. Now our own iterator object is done. Let's test the program. We iterate over the array using for_of. We can see our program works. For_of can still work with the array. It has output every element value, and every element value has been capitalized. We can also create the iterator object first and output one value at a time using the next method. If you only want the value, you can add the value property.